So hello and welcome back to the third session. In this video we're going to look at the ReclerView and beyond ReclerView if time will allow it. So without wasting much time, let us start our projects. I'll begin by creating a new project. Create new project, and I'll say it's an empty project for now, and then I can give it maybe ReclerView. ReclerView, and then I can select a folder which can be as this, and then I can create here another folder. It will be stroke 0004 underscore ReclerView recycler underscore view. Try to avoid I cancelled. Try to avoid the what. Okay, I have to first select the folder. This here. Okay, so it's going to be ReclerView. So always try to avoid the capital letters when you're creating folder name. So I can come here and still create another folder. Put 0004 ReclerView like this. I can put here underscore, no problem. So it's going to create for us this folder. I have to put here underscore because this is how I've been organizing my folders. So this folder be created for us. Use the same marshmallow, and then I click on finish, and our project will be created. Okay. So what is a ReclerView? Let me first see if these guys have replied, and then I'll come back and okay. So our application has created. So what is a ReclerView? If we realize that sometime we'll need to write things that are in a list. Almost every application will need a list, because it's the one that can create elements in a dynamic way. So if you have elements in dynamic, then with the ReclerView you can implement those things in that list, and then you can work upon them dynamically. For example, assume that you have 20 students. You have 20 students and you want to Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. So it will help us to manage our list. So I'll open here. Most of the time when you're creating these things, you can follow also the Android developers platform. For example, you can search ReclerView. ReclerView is very important. Android ReclerView. Almost in every application you'll need it, because you'll deal with lists. List of students, list of anything, you'll need a ReclerView. So you see here you have Android developer. They're talking about creating a ReclerView here on Java Point. So you can find a lot of people have posted about it, even on YouTube. So many places they are talking about they're talking about ReclerView. Stack Overflow. It is everywhere. There's a lot. Okay, so many people have posted about it. But this is the official documentation of ReclerView. But the official documentations, they will not tell you everything straight away. They'll leave some things. They'll not tell you in order. They'll just tell you randomly. They'll not say it's begin with this and go to this. No, they'll just tell you according to the standard way. But if you go to another tutorial like this one, then you can find someone is explaining it step by step. Now, just like I said, you don't need to memorize everything at first. You don't need to memorize everything, but you need to know that something exists, and when you want it, you can go and copy and modify it. And when you practice this again and again, then it will automatically come in the head until you get a point where you don't even need to go and copy. But it comes while you're working. You shouldn't say, I will not proceed until I memorize the whole code of ReclerView. No, it will waste your time. You just go ahead and practice, and then the rest can come later. So you're going to create a what? A list of ReclerView. So this is the main Android developer platform that can help you to create a a ReclerView for Android. So I'll zoom a little bit so that you can see clearly. So you can see here, a ReclerView makes it easy and efficiently to display large amount of data. It is easier and efficient to display large amount of data. Why do you say it's efficient? For example, if you have let me close this guy. If you have around 300 students 300 students to display in your list, first of all, you have too many already, and you're having a phone with limited RAM, and you want to display these on your screen. So what will you do? You can create maybe you say I want to create a dialogue. I mean, first of all, you have no way if you don't use lists, unless you say I'll create I'll create element, manually create element for each student. That will be hard for you. You create like here element, a student photo, maybe student first name and last name, or student name and country. For one student, two students, you create them manually, it will be hard, and then you come and set them manually, it will be hard. So what do? You better use a list. And when you use a list, the reason why I say ReclerView is very efficient is because a list with ReclerView, an element will be created only when it is displayed on the screen. An element will be created only when it is displayed on the screen. Elements that will not display on the screen will not be created. So that will help you to be to become efficient. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to create a ReclerView, and I'm going to follow these Android suggestions from Android main developers mode, so that you should also learn how you can use this documentation to create your own things. There's also other tutorials. So many people, they are using these things. So that's what they are saying. ReclerView will help you to create lists with large data efficiently. That's the most important part here. It will make it efficient when displaying, so it will never have like overused RAM and the rest. So we will supply data, and then that ReclerView will use that data to do what? To present in in the front screen, on the screen of a user. Beside the name of the class, ReclerView is also the name of a library in this page. So we have a library called ReclerView, but Android will take care of it these days. Before we could manually put it, but these days Android will take care of them. So these are the most important things that we must be knowing, or that we must take care when you're doing ReclerView. So first of all, I click on something. First of all, these are the key points in Android ReclerView. The first one is in the ReclerView itself. So the ReclerView it is the one that will be the UI, or the element in the front end, and one that will be pointing at in the back end to create that list itself, which is a class called ReclerView. If you click on it, then you can learn more about this class and its methods. They can explain the whole of it here. So this is ReclerView will be there. Then each individual element in a list is defined by what you call a view holder. So every element that will have in a list, for example, let me show you. Assume that you're going to create a list of products or students or anything like these ones. Every element here, it will be identified with a single thing called view holder. So view holder. When the view holder is created, it doesn't have any association with the word data. So when you create that view holder, when you have that element of view holder, then you don't need again take care of the data. So we'll use that view holder to point at a particular element in the list. When you want to change it, when you want to delete it, when you want to modify it, we'll be pointing at at a view holder. But if the data is changed, then you have to update the what? The recycler view. For example, the data can change, but the recycler view is not updated. Unless you notify that, hey, something has changed, update the other guy, then it will do what? It will be updated. That's why they said if the element is created, this view holder is disconnected from the data, you remain with your data where it can be an array, it can be what? And this side will have your view folder in the recycler view. We define this view holder, recycler view holder, that's how you can access it. Another thing is the data is requested in what we call an adapter. So an adapter, it will be the source of data to this recycler view. This recycler view will be just like a main element, but where it will be fetching its own data, the view holders, and where will be doing the whole logic. The whole logic of a recycler view will be done in a what? In a class called an adapter. And we'll have to create our own adapter that will extend this recycler view adapter. You know the advantage of extending something. To extend something, you'll get the powerful, the possibilities or the actions of a class that you've extended to. So there's a class of recycler view called recycler view.adapter. It is a class inside what? A recycler view class that will extend to create our own adapter. And in this adapter, it's where we'll do all the what? The logic. When someone clicks, what should he do? When we are implementing, how should we display the elements? The whole logic, it will be done in what? In our own adapter. That adapter, it will extend this recycler view what? Recycler view adapter. The layout arranges this one in the individual. So we'll have to put these elements on the screen individually, and have two types of ways you can put there. One is called linear layout and another is called grid layout. And the organization of those, we use a class called linear layout manager. To decide whether you should use linear layout or a grid. There are two, linear or grid. Grid should be in boxes. Linear will be one on top of the other. So this is how we implement the recycler view. First of all, we'll need a few things, steps to implement the recycler view. Recycler view, we need a few things. Even this what I've just said. There are a few things that we have to do what? To have in a place. We first decide whether our list will look in a grid layout or list layout, like linear layout. After deciding, then we design a view holder. So to design a view holder, it would be what? A class. It would be what? A class. And then we design a view itself. So a view, it is what the user will do what? You'll see in the screen. And then after, we create an adapter. So this adapter is the one that we said, and that will be taking care of the what? Of the recycler view, that will be taking care of the recycler view. So here, plan your layout, and then grid layout, and then you have not read all these things. You're just going to concentrate on what? On practicals. Okay, first of all, let us first create a what? Let me list here things that you will need, so that you should work one by one on them, so that you should understand properly. Let me create here another file. So to create a complete recycler view, we will need these things. First of all, I'll not concentrate on the other Android way because they are trying to be formal too much. First of all, we need a object class, a model class. So what is a model class? This will be like a class that will be responsible for the objects that will define our what? In our recycler view. Secondly, we'll need a view file. How should I call it? Item single item view layout. So this layout is that will be populated for a single class. Yeah, for the single item, we'll have to populate a layout. But it will be one. That's why I said it is effective. It will be one, but for many. Then after, we will need then a what? A recycler view itself, a recycler view, and then after needing the recycler view, we need what? The adapter, and then after what? The connection of the two. Okay, before the adapter we need what? Before the layout we need data now. Data. Okay, because you cannot do this without what? Without data. So we're going to do step by step each of these ones until we do what? We finish. So without wasting much time, let us begin with what? With the model class. So model class, of course, it is the it is the class of a single element. For example, you can use products. It can be products. A class of product can be a class of students, can be a class of subjects, it can be a class of different things. For example, which one should we do? For students?
Students, staffs, teachers.
So let us do for student. I think that's it can be people, it can be users. Let us use users. Okay, users. So we're going to create a model class. Okay, because they have to be standard. So to do that, I'll simply, these people are trying to be so much formal, and for us, you're concentrating on practicals. We want to understand more than getting the concept. So here is our. So I hope you're seeing clearly.
Yeah.
So I'm going to create here the model class. So I can say new, and then I can say Java class. Okay. So I can say users. So I can say users model. So I add that model, so that should identify that it's a model. Like the way we did here, main activity. So every activity will have that activity. Model, I can decide then I'll be adding that model. So every model shall have model, like the way it is. So it will be a class, and then I press enter. So after doing that, we then give this class a what? We give this class properties. So I can make them public, and so let me make them public that they should be simple to access. So this one maybe have public integer of what? Of ID. Very good. That must always be there. ID. So I can make it always 0, nothing, and then maybe public string, public string, or first name. Let me just put name. Public string of name. I can equate it to what? To nothing for at first, and duplicate it. Public string of maybe country, and maybe public string of, we can put email, maybe, and photo. If you look at photos, we just a link to a photo, can even be an image. But for now, let's just look a simple thing at first. Let's just make it simple at first. When we go to advanced, then go to photos and the rest. So that is how we're going to do it to identify our users. That is the standard class of users. So I can make a constructor if I want to be defining this thing when I'm creating them. So press Alt and Insert. Alt and Insert to create a what? To automatically create one of these things. Can create getter to generate either getter or constructor or any of these. Alt and what? And Insert. Okay. So I can say I want a constructor of everything. Then you see, I got very good for me a constructor. So I'll be just calling this constructor to create for me, and so on, initialize for me an object. So after this class, then it means this class is done. So what? It's done. Okay. So next we need item view. So how do you need this item to be presented on the screen? So it is going to be what? A single layout. So I can come here under my resources. Very good. Under resources, under layouts. I'm going to put here what? An item view layout resource. So I can say maybe here we begin with the name of the file of the group of a file. So I can say item, okay, then user, okay. So item user, I can say this one should be the linear layout, but no problem. I can just say okay. Then I have item user. You see, I have it here. So I'm going to change this one maybe to linear layout. That's a simpler way to use it. Linear layout. There we go. So we design. It's going to have maybe we're going to maybe put an ID and then the name and the country. So how do you do that? I can simply ID and then name and the country. So you're going to put your orientation. So here design how a single element should look like. Orientation horizontal. Let me refer to horizontal, and then here I'm going to put here a text, a view, and I'm going to call it wrap content, and I'll give it a what? Text maybe. Let me call it 001 maybe, or one ID1. Mosquitoes. ID1. I'll close this one, and then we could give it size maybe like 15 dp. I can say 18 dp. Okay, so I can give there's 100 really has some size called action bar size. Is it action bar or up bar? Height up bar. I think it's not defined here. Okay, let me just make wrap content. Okay, I'll tell you why wrap content. So after doing that, I'll need another. I'm going to put here another linear layout. So I can put here a linear layout, width, match parent, and then also height. After match parent, then width, height. You can get layout, and then you can get orientation. Then I can maybe this one make it vertical, and there itself I'll put the name and the last name. So I first put this guy and then this guy like this. So after doing that, I'll just simply come and get this one maybe and put this one, and I can say this is the what, this is the name, and maybe I can duplicate it. Very good. Now it's going to be bottom, it's going to be maybe country. Okay, so maybe country should be a little bit smaller, maybe 16 dp, and then also this one will be standing out by putting maybe color of 100 black to be a little bit standing out, and maybe can make it 20, something like that. We make it a little bit bigger. So can now give this one width, weight of 2, and then also this one weight of 1. And then make this one also much parent. Will you play Jam or play later? You play later? Play Jam.
Okay.
5. Okay, let me specify just the width. Can as well specify the width by just putting let me remove this weight. Let me specify the width. Width, I can say action bar size is not there. It's not specified today. Okay, I can just say maybe 50 45 dp. What can use? What can? Okay, with 45 dp. And then also the height 45 dp. Then I can say gravity. You understand the use of gravity? Center. Then this guy will be centered. So like this. So this guy, its height. Let me just also give this guy height, specific height, 45 dp. I can say this one should be maybe 50 dp. 50 dp. 50 dp. So this will also be height. Okay, for 50 dp width, height, match parent. Okay, understand what is going on, I hope. So that's a single item. Okay, without wasting much time, we can just leave it at that point. Okay, so we can leave that for that sake. So that's an item, so we need to identify them. I need to identify them, and the only way to identify them is through using what? ID. So I can give this guy an ID. So I can say item. You see, I always put the name so that I should not confuse the what. I should not confuse the IDs, because when your project becomes bigger, you'll have IDs, many IDs. So you may end up pointing at the wrong ID if you're not careful. So I better start. For example, it's hectic, but it's a better way. For example, here the IDs in this file, I can say they're beginning with that item and item user, because this file will never have an item with the same ID. Item user, this one will be what? ID. Very good. Okay, so that note will never be because there cannot be file with same file names, and the same file I cannot have same ID, so they will never contradict. So I can come here and give it what? An ID of name. No, it was one because I duplicate it, and can get ID of sorry, I name here, right? Yeah, name. Very good. Then ID here, it will be country. Perfect. So I can even put some kind of layout. So that's the simple UI to understand what is going on. So after doing that, I'm going to okay, this is done. Most of people will always put in a card. You know card?
What?
A card.
Yeah, card.
Have you tried to practice it? No. But we have a very good UI called card. Let me create it and then you'll see. It's just nothing but a UI that puts some kind of shading. Let me put this thing in a card. I can make the parent be card. For example, if I want to make a parent be card, so what does it mean? I'll have to. Okay, a card will take only one parent. Will take only one child. So I can make this to be card. Then mean that I need another linear layout because it will take only one child. So I can copy this and paste it here. See, just see what I'm doing here, and close it. It's just the same thing because linear layout. It's linear. So I'm going to change this one to what? To card view. Very good, card view. You see, so it's still the same. But a card, it will take only one child. That's why I first copy the other thing. So this one I may even not need this one. I can just say match what? Match parent. So that the card should control the height only one time. When I control the height, everything will be updated. So that card will put some kind of shading that you'll see. You can even see like we're having some kind of shading, most especially when you run the application. It will be different from linear layout. We'll show you the examples. So I can put now some space, maybe like a margin top that should not be attached to each other. Margin top, I can say like maybe 5 dp, for example. So for now, we can just go with this, and then I will come and check our list. This one is done. Okay, this one is done, step by step. This one is done. Now what next is the what? Is the data. So I'm going to create the data of these things. So I'm going to come here to layout. I'm going to create a what? To a main activity, I'm going to create a list. This can be data from internet, can be data from database, can be data from anywhere. But for now, I'm just going to create our own list. So I can create a list. In Android, we have, in Java, we have something called list, and this is how we define it. Okay, it's just something simple here. You say list, and then you define an object. I mean a class there. So we list of what? Of user model. You understand?
Yeah.
And then we give this one, maybe you can give it a name, users. You can say users, user models, then we just say users, okay? Users, then you to initialize and say new array list, just like this. But now this is an empty list that we created. Now we're going to do what? We're going to add there some data, okay? So I can, if I don't want my project to be disorganized, I can do what? I can do things in form of methods, in form of functions, so that to avoid disorganization or everything in one activity. So I better create a method. Maybe I can say generate data or get data. And let me say generate underscore data, and this is going to be a method that is separate, other than putting here my all things. So you mean that if you use this project later, this one you can now go maybe collect data from internet, something like that. So I'll just say users dot what dot add. Very good. So here I can add new object. I simply saying new user what? User model. Remember, I have a constructor. The first one you pass the ID. See here, they'll suggest even for you what next. After ID, you pass next. I just put a space here, name. Say me Indo Mark. I love myself so much. What else? Country Uganda. What else? That's all I think. Does it still asking for more thing? Email, yeah. We don't put that gmail.com, don't put that in our layout, but you can still do it. That's done. So I'll duplicate it and add another one. Okay. This is a 2. I can call it Carl Harir Somalia Carl@gmail.com. And call this one 3 Olabi Amadu, and this is from Kame. Call this one for Latifa. Do you still hear from Latifa? And, I was communicating with her, but I lost connection. Pakistan, Afghanistan. She says from she's right now. She's in Pakistan, Afghanistan. Like this. Like this. That was my very good friend. Afghan. Okay, so that's what 2 more. 5 fish country I've not mentioned. And I'll say made from Comoros. Okay, that's enough. Say okay. You can just let me create some more because we need more data. In fact, I would even create a logic that can loop and do it and do this. Okay, I'll fix this. I'll just make it 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Lima, Salama, Tani, Sumaya, maybe Malik. Okay, so this can be enough for just testing and getting the concept. Can duplicate these ones. You just change the IDs only, and the rest will be done. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay. So since this is just a what? A global class. I mean a global file. I mean a global object. A global list of objects. It can be accessed from anywhere. So even if I change this one, it means it will be meaning this one. So we have now the what? The data. Right? And now how to create a recycler view itself. So to create a recycler view, we'll just simply come and create a recycler view in a what? In our main file, what will be represented. So here in this standard file, let me change this guy to what? Linear layout. The simplest way, the simplest layout to implement linear layout. Does not need too many things. Maybe we can come here and put orientation vertical, and then main activity. Then I'll come and define this one as linear layout, match parent. Also the height, let me make it what? Match parent. So let me give this what? So I have the linear layout there somewhere inside. If you come in design, it is there. It is there. You see? Oh no, recycler view. No linear layout, recycler view, right? Recycler view, like this. Okay, so it is there to just show like in kind of list, and I make it match parent 100%. Okay, so I'm going to give this a recycler view. What I'm going to give it an ID. I can call it maybe users. I can call it recycler view users. That I should know it is a recycler view made what by users. Recycler view underscore users. Okay, so I have that one. So what next now is to create its object in the main class. So I can say now just get it bind data. I can create a function called bind data, or that will be connecting the data. Bind data, bind underscore data. If I want my things to be organized, I can come here and then I'll create this method here. So in this method is where I want to create the what? The recycler view object, recycler view like this, and then I give it a name. Okay, you understand?
Yeah.
Then I have to do what? To find in this recycler view is equal to find view by id r dot id dot recycler view. Say anything that I want to find, I can find there. So we have now the object of recycler view. So what else? How to create the what? The adapter that will take care of the logic. Now that's where people always find problems, but it is not so hectic as how it is. So to create an adapter, you can come and follow along here how an adapter is created. You see, it is just a class that will extend what? Recycler view, and then it will be passing your view holder here. Okay, so let us create it. Let's create it anyway. So you simply come here, right click, new Java class, and then you give this guy a name. Okay, you can say it's going to right click in the package, new Java class. I need to make it extend new Java class. It's going to be class, yes. I need to extend automatically using this, but no problem. You can manually extend it. How do you do that? Because I can ask this Java Android resource Java class file, new file. No. this one can make this 100 to create it for you. Java class, make it an interface, not allow. Okay, no problem. Let's just make it Java class. So this is going to be our adapter. So I'm going to create our own adapter. So I can call it users adapter. Users adapter. I can begin to say user adapter. So you can say users adapter. Say that's a class. So what does it extend? It should extend ReclerView.adapter. ReclerView.adapter, and then we'll have another class here within it called view adapter, view holder. That's the view holder that will be taking care of the logic. But the main thing, it should extend this one. Okay, it should extends what? ReclerView adapter, and then it should have a view holder inside it. So it will give you warning here. Press Alt and Enter. Oh yeah, that's a problem. Yeah, see, when you do like that, you'll be. So if they'll just give you a suggestion here, press Alt and Enter. Then they will say, hey, please, you need to implement some methods. So say click on implement. So these are the things that you have to implement. You must implement. So that's a good thing about this, and then they'll implement it for you. And then you'll need also another class here, one more class here. I'm going to explain these ones. You need another more class here that will be working as a what? As your adapter. So you can see here, it should be within this class. You see, it is custom view, and it is a public class within this one. So can you see? It is a public class. Alaikum salam. Printer not available for now. Printer not available. Have you tried these Pakistani guys? Yeah, very cheap.
Very cheap.
MashaAllah.
Here it's 5 taka.
It used to be 5, but because of competition, I reduced to 3. But my printer is off right now.
Both of you are, I don't know.
Yeah, we collaborate to steal you. We collaborate together so we can steal you. I'll resume the video. So we need to have a what? An adapter class, and should be a public class within I mean, you need to have a view holder class. It should be a public class within an adapter. So I can even just copy this one. Let us create it step by step that we should understand. Let me copy it to save our time. Okay, so I'll come and do it and paste here. I'll explain it. You see, even here it is warning that you need to implement something. So I'll put this view adapter here. See, it is just public static class or view adapter. You can call it anything. My view holder, you can call it anything. My view holder doesn't matter. Okay, so I'll call this view adapter to simplify, and it extends also the ReclerView, the view adapter, view holder. Okay, and then here it's where it will be defining for a single element that will do what, that will handle. Then you have to pass this before we come here. I'll come back to this. Okay, so you have to pass it here in this ReclerView, like the way I did here. There it is. I mean, so we have to define that. We have to say it is inside this. If we do like this, it will try to look for its file outside. But this class is inside this user's adapter. So I have to say this class, don't look for it anywhere. It is just within. Okay. Within the same file. Why is it crying? Press Alt and Enter. Again, implement. So you don't need to implement it until you create this, because if you try to implement it before you create it, it will do what? It will create methods that are not lying with that adapter. So what do? You first create the adapter, and then you pass it there like we have done. Then you come and press Alt and Enter here. Alt and Enter to implement the methods. Press Alt and Enter. They'll ask you to implement this thing. Press Enter. Boom. And that's how you create an adapter. That's a problem to so many people. That's where this is not so complicated if someone shows you step by step. But so many people suffer from there. Okay? So that's it. So now here in view holder, it is like they said, it is the one that will be taking care of each single element. So we need what we now need to do what to define now, to define each element that we have here. So this one is the one, in fact, this one is the object, the one that will be communicated, the image of this layout that we created. It's the one that will be taking care of this layout. So I can now define my, for example, here we have we have this guy of item user ID. So I can come and define it here. I can say maybe it will be public. Okay, this guy, they suggest that should be private. Doesn't matter. Okay, it will be private. Text view. I can name it what? The ID. Okay, so each time one element is created, they'll be calling this one here. Okay, they'll be calling this one here. So here it's where we can even put the what? The click listener. So here I'm going to every time that they create this element, we'll be calling this layout, and this layout will be giving it to me through this view. So here it's where I'll be saying just in this one is equal to view, very good, and then I base on that view to find whatever I want. Dot find view by ID, then I put r dot id dot like this. Okay, so this one I've created. Now I'll have to create this one now. You're understanding very fast. It will save my time for sure. So I can now come and create another, this guy. Okay, I cannot create two finals like this. Duplicate, can create here. Why is it crying? Add construct. I hate these things. Just make it public thing, and then we're good to go. Why so many private? So this, I'll just come and initialize it. So this thing will be called first before anything is created. So I'll paste it there. Then I'll come and create this one. Copy it. Okay, country. Did I click on the right thing? Can I say restart? Cancel. Okay, let's see. Yeah, just until we finish. Okay, so here, country here, this one. So I'll come and copy and paste it, and then I'll come and find it from this point, and then like this, and then I can remove these things or theirs. I think that's straightforward. You don't need to memorize all of them. Okay, so this was just like a setter. I don't need setters and getters. We'll just be accessing them manually directly. So there we're good. Okay, so that's it. Now after you have these ones, every time before an element is created, they'll be calling this method, and I'll give it a layout, and you can deal with the layout here. Now we have here on create view holder. This on create view holder, it will be created. It will be called when the view holder is being what? When the view holder is being created. When this view holder will be, when the view holder will be created, it will be calling this one. And then this one on bind, it will be called when the element is combining the what with the layout. So one of these ones we'll have to set on create. You see here we have on create view holder. It is where we'll set the view. So we get the view and return the view. Here it's where we'll set the what? The layout and return it. So I can just copy this, I'll explain it. So this is where here it's returning null. So it means that nothing is going to be created here for now if you don't call it. So here it is where you can even change whether I want to use a different layout or what. So you see I create a view, and this view is where I'm inflating the layout. Yeah, you know what I mean, the inflating to set an element to appear the what on the view. So I can put here parent dot get context. This is the context, the what the occurrence of the main class, and then here I find the layout now. The item that I created, which is what? Which is user what? Item user, right? Item user. Added item user. So this is the one that where I can switch the layout, which layout should be shown, and here I can pass like still view layout, the root layout, and then return. You remove this null. You return new view holder. You see, now you're calling this. Can you see? You're calling this. You return new view holder and you pass to it this view that we promised to give it here. Okay. So we give it here. So after doing that, but still one more thing has to be done. Now combining the data. Now how do you combine data? We combine data in the bind, when you are binding the data. You see, when you are binding the data, so you combine the data. So it means that here, when you're binding the data, we have to add the element that we need. Okay, we have to add the element that we need. So here, so I'm going to add the element that we need here. So it means that we had one more thing that we had to create is the data. We don't have the data here, the access to the data. So how to define this here? Okay, we can say we need at least the data you to send to us. When someone creates this one, need to send us the data, because without the data, we cannot tell about how long is our list. So I'm going to create the list of data, list of what? User what? User model. Okay, let's say users. Can say users. Okay, that new to avoid it from crashing. You can make it an empty array list. Okay, so that is what? That's a list of data. So I now have to create a constructor. The constructor that say, hey, please, you must give us what? Data when you're creating this item. Yeah, you have to create a constructor. As you can see here, they created a constructor that will make a force, like in order to create this, you must give us what? Constructor. Data. So I'll just press Alt and Enter. Alt and Insert. Alt and Insert, and then say constructor. It is having a singular. That's it. You don't need too much explanation there. So that to create this class, you must provide this. So if you have one thing that you want to ask for, maybe context. Alt and Insert. I already talked about it. Alt and Insert. Then you can set constructor, get, and the rest. See. So this is where you can tell, hey, please, you will not do this until you provide us a certain thing here in the constructor. If you want the context, if you want anything to be added, this you can forcibly ask for it from here. So the result will not create until he provides it. So I have the what? The data here. So how will the list know that it is this amount of data, 20, whatever? How do you know that? From there, get count. You see this method, it will be called by the ReclerView itself to get the size. So instead of returning 0, if you return 0, it will never show anything. So I'll put this one dot what? Dot size. It will return. So if there are 20 users, it will tell the ReclerView, hey, you're having 20 what? 20 elements in the what? In this list. 30 elements, 40 elements. So it will be dynamically defined here, according to the data that we'll provide. Understand? Very good. So lastly is now to bind the what? To bind the data. So to bind the data, you bind it from here, the one that will set these elements. So I see this data, this when you're binding, they're sending you a view that you're binding that is currently active, that is going to be binded, and the position of the view or the data that they are pointing at this particular moment. So here it is where you can come and say, now I have the holder dot what? You see, when I say dot, I have all the elements here that I defined here. So dot say dot item user ID. Then I say dot what? Dot set text. This dot set text, it is on the text. So I'm going to say the text. How will I know the current user, which is users dot what dot get, and then I pass here the position that they have provided me here. Then I'll know that I'm pointing at specific current user. Then I click dot, and then I have the ID, the country, because it's a model of user model. Understanding, eh?
Yeah.
Then I can maybe
ID, right?
yeah, ID. So if since it is an integer, oh sorry, ID, it's an integer, I have to add there some to convert to string. I can put dot to string, no. So like I add here some thing to convert it to string, eh? So that's it. If you don't convert to string, that will crash. So I'll come to the next thing. So the next thing will be dot in name. I'll come here and change it to just name here. See? And then I can come here, and lastly it is what? It is country. Can come here and put that country. Let's go and set, you see? Yeah, it's where you see the layout. Let's go and set maybe the email. So email, I can make here another linear layout. See, linear layout within another linear layout. So I can just put here linear layout that will match that will match parent, and also match parent of 8, and you'll have orientation, horizontal, and then I'll put this one. So I'll put this one, maybe width, it is match parent, and I can give it weight of 1. Then I'll come and duplicate it like this. I have 2, and then I can make this one email. So here I'll play with it. This comes with what? With experience. Gravity, right? Such a thing. Email, right? I think that's it.
Yeah, you can change the text.
Oh, okay. This one, it will not even appear. You will not see it. It's just dummy, because the view will take care even before you see it. So I can come here and maybe give it some padding left. I can say 10 dp and padding right 10 dp. Is it visible though? Is it visible? Can you see it? I don't know. Why? Do you define padding already? Okay, I'll copy it from here. Since I have a parent, a single guy, can do it from here, no problem. Yeah. Okay, so let us get this item. Okay, have the email now. Can come and do it and define it here in the view holder, and then come and duplicate it here and put there, and then come and set it here, and then come and set here, right? And then put here email. I'm good to go. So by doing like that, you're done in the what? With the view holder. With the view holder. I mean with the adapter. Now what's remaining is compiling the two. Okay? I think it's straightforward for now. So after doing that, now how to combine the two. So I can come here and put maybe my class called init component initialize components. So you see, if you do like this, your code will be organized in a way that you know specific part where it does. But imagine if I put all these things here into one method, it will be a little bit what? Confusing when it becomes huge. So here I'm going to initialize the what? The components. So first of all, I'm going to create the what? The adapter. So I can make this adapter also public. So object of an adapter. So it will be what? User what? User adapter. You can just call it adapter. Okay. So here I can initialize now the adapter here. Adapter is equal to new user adapter. We must pass what? The list of data. See, now it is okay. So after that, I already initialized the recycler view. So we have some things that you have to set here. Initializing the recycler view. Did I show it? Just a few things. Get it here. Even me, I never memorized the whole of it. Initializing recycler view is just as manager. Okay, so these are the steps that we follow when initialize the recycler view. Okay, like say connecting. We already initialized the recycler view. We connect. So I understood why and how you need the adapter. So after next, I'll have to do what? To initialize the recycler view like this. Okay. So first of all, adapter. Eh?
Here we are getting the users.
These users?
Mm,
You for
that one.
these
Yeah.
these things?
No, that users.
These users?
Parameter, yeah.
They are here.
Oh, yeah.
Users,
Okay.
and we have the list. And from this constructor, we say that we. So adapter contacts list is already finished. Create contact list is already finished. Adapt already finished it. Okay. So we have now the recycler view. Dot set adapter. See, recycler view. Dot set adapter. In fact, this is the one that's supposed to come last. In the recycler view, dot set adapter. But we have first the recycler view set linear manager. Okay, you just say recycler view dot set layout manager. Okay, this layout manager is the one that will determine whether it should be grid or what list. So here just simply put new linear layout, and then you pass the context, which is this. Simple as that. Okay, so I've already done it. And then after setting the manager, and then you set the adapter, you connect the two. This one that will combine and then to start running. So it's a recycler view dot set what? Dot set adapter, and then you change to that adapter. That's it. Yeah. So I'll run it. This is the very, very important part and very crucial part that most people always find the problem. So it is running. Then get the application, hope it not crash. I'm now a senior. I cannot even create an error. But at first, this thing almost made me cry. Errors inside errors, errors within errors. But you see, for the first time run, not any error. So you see, you have that list without any problem. Have that list without any problem. So in next class, we'll see how now can put attachments. Like you click on it, you should tell where have you clicked, how to delete, and how to add elements on it. That's what we'll do in the next class. Yeah, but you can go and practice and even go beyond this one. You have a right to do that. There's no problem with that. But next class now we'll say, okay, how can we make now sense out of these things? But this is very, very important that you have to understand, because in almost every element, every good application that will make, it must be there. It's a list. This one is just a very basic one. So you see the thing of a card, you will see where the element is ending. That's what you call a card. But if it was a linear layout, you couldn't see that kind of UI that shows where the element is ending. So let's start from there, inshallah, in the next class. But you're free to practice beyond this. In my videos that I uploaded, I went even beyond, so you have to practice for this already.
Same thing, right?
Eh?
Static data?
Yeah, static data. Database, we are coming, don't worry. Static data, but make sure that you understand them. Yeah. So that's it for today, inshallah. Yeah. That's it for today. Next class then we'll have to start from there.